Thanks, Rob. Hey, Coach, I guess your parking spot was available.
It was available this morning. Yes, it was.
How good did it feel to walk back in the building, Kevin, after a strange 10 days?
Yeah, it feels good to be back to work. It's going to feel really good when I'm out on the field with the players.
If I could sneak one more in, is there any update on Joel Bitonio?
No update.
Thank you, Tom. Nate Ulrich, you're up.
Coach, did any of your assistants get to rejoin you today?
No.
Back?
It's me for today.
And then for practice, do you have any updates for us on, Jack Conklin, David Njoku, BJ Goodson?
Yeah, same guys that did not practice yesterday won't practice today, but they're all making progress.
How do you feel about Goodson told us he's going to play Sunday, and he seemed pretty convincing. How do you feel about those three guys' chances for Sunday?
Yeah, if you said that, makes me feel good too. But I'll just let this thing go day by day and take information from those guys and from the trainers.
Thank you, Nate. Jeff Shadell, you're up.
And we always talk about the next man up. Could you be specific, though, about Kendall Lamb, what he's done for you last weekend this season?
Yeah, I think very highly of Kendall, the person and the player. He's been very versatile for us to line up all over. Gives a great look during the week when he was giving scout team looks. So he's somebody that has performed well when he's gone in there, very much on top of the game plan, works very hard pre-practice and post-practice.
Thanks, Jeff. Scott Petrick has our next question.
Hey, Kevin, with that Chiefs offense, just how unique is the whole thing with Patrick and Tyreek and Kelsey? And then how do you go about stopping something with that many weapons?
Yeah, it's unique. I would agree, Scott. It's versatile in how they approach it. They have weapons on the perimeter, weapons coming from the backfield, and then they have a great trigger man. And so I think everybody's seen it. It's a difficult offense to defend, both schematically and personnel.
And you talked about Andy Reid as a play caller. The fact that he seems to have so many varieties to what he does that make it even more difficult?
Yeah, I think they do a nice job. Situationally, I think they have a bunch of different ways that they can attack you. So we have to be about our business. It's a rules game. You got to be sound in what you're doing.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Mary Kay Cabot is next.
Can you just address a little bit about how you have your experience to draw on? I mean, even pretty recent experience of going to a championship game and the level of intensity that you have to take it up to, and how do you get that message across to your guys?
Yeah, Mary Kay, I think, it's January, so they're well aware of what's at stake. And really our focus is just playing good football. I know that sounds simple, but that's kind of what we're hanging our hat on. And that's part of Thursday is understanding what the coaches installed this morning, getting out on the field, walking through it, and then having a really sharp practice. But ultimately, when you get in that stadium Sunday, everybody's well aware of what's at stake.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Fred Greetham, we'll go to you.
Thanks, Coach. Could you just talk a little bit about, last week on defense, you got help from everywhere, guys like Red Wine and Joseph and Gustin and Stewart, guys you hadn't really, just stepped up. Can you just talk about that and the depth there?
Yeah, Fred, that's something that I've seen from our guys throughout this season. I'd throw Vincent Taylor in there, getting his hand up and getting that ball in the air. That Porter made a great play to intercept. So it's going to take everybody that's dressed on Sunday, and we're going to need contributions from everybody. So that's kind of been our mentality, and that's been what the guys have done all season.
Thank you, Fred. Marla Ridenour has our next question.
Yeah, Coach, good to see you. I can't resist asking this. This is going to be a while before you go back in that basement again.
It will be. Those walls are closing in on me. So I'm enjoying this big building and those fields. I can't wait to get out on them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marla. We'll go back to Jeff Shadell.
Hey, Kevin, you guys are 6-3 on the road this year. That's pretty good. So what is your secret to playing as well on the road as you do at home?
Yeah, I think when you go on the road, there's that us against them mentality, and it's a little bit different now without full stadiums. But I know Arrowhead's going to have some fans. I know it's going to be loud, but you really just got to stick together. But ultimately, we understand our brand of football and making sure that we're playing true to that.
Thanks, Chef. Daryl Ryder, you're up.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Travis Kelce. He was already a perennial Pro Bowler, and this year he had a career year, most catches, most yards, such. Why is he so difficult to defend?
He is a great player. Can do it all. Runs like a receiver, catches like a receiver, but is obviously a big player. Size and speed, rare combination of size and speed and athleticism. The tape is very, very impressive.
And then I know on Monday you talked about just how you felt like a Browns fan having to watch that game, from your basement. I'm curious, as a coach, did you learn anything just from that experience? Like, as a coach, does it give you a different perspective on how you view the game or anything like that?
I don't think so, Daryl. I don't think so, and I'm looking forward to not doing that again.
Thanks.
Thank you, Daryl. To Tony Grossi.
Hi, Kevin. Andy Reid, creative play caller and all that. It seems like their creativity really comes out in the red zone. I don't know if you obviously agree. Just speak to that they have the most funky red zone package in the league. I know you guys are pretty good at it too, but that seems to be a characteristic of them.
Yeah, they do a really nice job down there, Tony, and I think Coach Reid and that entire offensive staff, they do get creative, and they have a bunch of different pieces and a bunch of different ways to do that. I think they have versatile football players that they can move around. So again, our job on defense is try to find a way to stop it, and ultimately you can't plan to stop everything they do. You just got to stick to your rules and treat it with anything that comes your way, just making sure that you're being sound in how you try to defend it.
And now Joe Woods mentioned that you were in pads yesterday. You get a padded practice every week in the postseason?
As far as I understand, yes.
Okay, so you had to use one since the Jets game.
Yeah, and Wednesday is typically the day where you put them on and get the guys used to them, and they got really good work in yesterday in those pads.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Mary Kay Cabot is next.
In terms of Ronnie Harrison, I think it was only about 11 snaps in that first game. Was that sort of the track that he's on, and do you expect a lot more this week?
Yeah, I do expect more from Ronnie, and he's ready to go. He was kind of in and out of the lineup, so to speak, during the week last week, where he was ruled out and then was able to come back. So with a normal week of practice, I do expect him out there.
So did he have some kind of little minor setback or something?
No. I just make, again, somebody's in and then they're out and then he's back. So I'm pleased that he's here the whole time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick, you're up.
Kevin, people talked about, the intensity goes up in the playoffs. Is it possible for Jarvis to play any more intense than he does in the regular season?
Probably not. He treats every practice like it's the game. So, the players follow his lead, and he knows that. So he brings a level of intensity to all these get-togethers.
And just how well has he played for you over the last, whatever it is, month, 2 months? It feels like he's making big plays every week.
Yeah, we call his number in big moments, and he's come through for us. And again, he understands his role, and that's what we're counting on him, and he gets that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Back to Daryl Ryder.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about the depth of your offensive line this year. You've had a ton of injuries up front. You've had to use a lot of guys at a lot of different positions, and it just seems unusual to maintain a level of play when you have that volume of adjustments. Could you just, speak on the job that Bill Callahan has done preparing those guys, and then also just, from your perspective as a coach, the comfort level you have knowing that, you can plug and play guys up there and you can expect to get a premium performance?
Yeah, well, Daryl, you'd love to play the same 5 guys all season, and sometimes that happens, but wasn't the case this year. And you're relying on your depth, and you're relying that depth is ready to play and perform at the same or similar level as the guy they're replacing. So, I think it speaks to the players' preparedness is a credit to them and the work that they put in. And then obviously it's a credit to Coach Callahan and Scott Peters and Ryan Cordell and all the work that those guys put in pre and post practice and on these Zoom calls to get ready to play.
Thanks, Daryl. Tom Withers, you're up.
Thanks, Rob. Kevin, clearly you guys had to adjust as a staff last week. Based on that experience, does the workflow change going forward? Is there anything you can learn off of that adjustment you had to make?
I don't think so, Tom. We work so much on Zoom and we cover a lot of ground in meetings on Zoom. So that was pretty much similar to what we've done. And then game day, we've had coaches out before, and that's why we have these contingency plans. And regardless of who's out there, we expect the communication to be on point.
I know you missed everything while you were away. What'd you miss most?
Yeah, I mean, on a professional level, just being around the team and being around the coaches and the players. And then, isolating from my family is no fun. I should mention that.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Tom. Nate Orwick, back to you.
And Kevin, because COVID affects everybody differently, how much goes into you guys determining, like, when players come back, what they can handle in a game? Because, Denzel, Kevin Johnson came back. You hope to get a couple more back. Like, how does what's that process like? How's it go?
Yeah, Nate, I think each case is different. It's case by case basis. And whether you're coming back from an injury or COVID in this scenario, we got to make sure that we treat each guy based on how they're feeling and how they respond. So I would tell you, we monitor it as coaches, we monitor it as a training staff, and make appropriate decisions based on that.
So, like Denzel and Kevin, for example, like just narrowing on them, they came back yesterday. So do you already have a feel for that, or you have to get to Saturday before you know, like, how many snaps you think they can handle?
Yeah, I have a feel for what they did yesterday and how they responded, but then same thing today. I got to see how they do today and how they respond, and we'll be in a constant communication with them in particular.
Thank you, Nate. We'll take 2 more questions for Coach Marla Ridenour, Jake Trotter. Marla, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, just a quick one. Did you come up with that "we want more" thing, or is that the marketing department?
Yeah, I'm in my lane as the head coach, Marla. That's not me.
Well, I just want to make sure you didn't say it in a speech or something.
Not as far as I know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Marla. Final question to Jake Trotter.
Yeah, Kevin, they say, adversity builds character. Do you feel like you guys are a stronger team based on all the stuff you've had to juggle the last couple of weeks?
I hope so, Jake. I hope we take all of these experiences and these learnings and make us better for it. And I really say that going back all the way to the spring. I mean, things have not been normal for us or any team out there, or really, frankly, any person out there. So I hope we're learning from them and getting better from all these experiences.
Do you think the way that they handled things in Pittsburgh without you was sort of validating to you about the way you've prepared them and kind of built the foundation of this team?
I don't know that I wouldn't go as far to say validation. I would just tell you that the way we play and the brand of football we play, we've shown throughout this season. And regardless of the coach that's out there, regardless of the player that's out there, that won't change.
And now that you're back, you expect any of the guys to mess with you since you've been gone for a while here?
I would expect them to mess with me. Yes, I would.
Okay.
You know what? They already have. Case Keenum told me he hid something in my office, and he asked if I smelled it yet, but I don't, because I lost my sense of smell.